the, number 4 of T.S. Eliot's 4 quartets. Clearly the final number. It's number 4. Little Gidding. 1. Midwinter spring is its own season, sempiternal though sodden toward sundown, suspended in time between the pole and tropic, when the short day is brightest with frost and fire, the brief sun flames the ice on pond and ditches, in windless cold that is the heart's heat, reflecting in a watery mirror, a glare that is blindness in the early afternoon, in glow more intense than blaze of branch or brazier, stirs the dumb spirit, no wind, but Pentecostal fire in the dark time of the year. Between melting and freezing the soul's sap quivers. There is no earth smell or smell of living thing. This is the spring time, but not in time's covenant. Now the hedgerow is blanched for an hour with transitory blossom of snow. A bloom more sudden than that of summer, neither budding nor fading, not in the scheme of generation. Where is the summer, the unimaginable zero summer? If you came this way, taking the route you would be likely to take from the place you would be likely to come from, if you came this way in Maytime, you would find the hedges white again in May, with voluptuary sweetness. It would be the same at the end of the journey. If you came at night like a broken king, if you came by day not knowing what you came for, it would be the same. When you leave the rough road and turn behind the pigsty to the dull facade and the tombstone, and what you thought you came for is only a shell, a husk of meaning from which the purpose breaks only when it is fulfilled, if at all. Either you had no purpose, or the purpose is beyond the end you figured and is altered in fulfillment. There are other places, which also are the world's end, some at the sea jaws, or over a dark lake, in a desert or city, but this is the nearest in place and time, now and in England. If you came this way, taking any route, starting from anywhere, at any time or at any season, it would always be the same. You would have to put off sense and notion. You were not here to verify, instruct yourself, or inform curiosity or carry report. You are here to kneel where prayer has been valid, and prayer is more than the order of words, the conscious occupation of the praying mind, or the sound of the voice praying, and what the dead had no speech for, when living they can tell you, being dead. The communication of the dead is tongued with fire beyond the language of the living. Here, the intersection of the timeless moment is England in nowhere, never and always. 2. Ash on an old man's sleeve is all the ash the burnt roses leave. Dust in the air suspended marks the place where a story ended. Dust in breathed was a house, the walls the wainscot in the mouse. The death of hope in despair, this is the death of air. There are flood and drouth over the eyes and in the mouth, dead water and dead sand, contending for the upper hand. The parched eviscerate soil, gaps at the vanity of toil, laughs without mirth. This is the death of earth. Water and fire succeed, the town, the pasture, in the weed. Water and fire deride the sacrifice that we denied. Water and fire shall rot the marred foundations we forgot of sanctuary and choir. This is the death of water and fire. In the uncertain hour before the morning, near the ending of interval night, at the recurrent end of the unending, after the dark dove with the flickering tongue had passed below the horizon of his homing, while the dead leaves still rattled on like tin over the asphalt, where no other sound was. Between 3 districts whence the smoke arose, I met one walking, loitering, and hurried, as if blown toward me like the metal leaves before the urban dawn wind unresisting. And as I fixed upon the downturned face that pointed scrutiny with which we challenged the first met stranger in the waning dusk, I caught the sudden look of some dead master whom I had known, forgotten, half recalled, both one and many, and the brown-baked features, the eyes of a familiar compound, ghosts both intimate and unidentifiable. So I assumed a double's part and cried, and heard another's voice cry, "What? Are you here?" Although we were not, I was still the same, knowing myself yet being someone other, and he a face still forming, yet the words sufficed to compel the recognition they preceded. And so, compliant to the common wind, too strange to each other for misunderstanding, in concord of this intersection time of meeting nowhere, no before and after, we trod the pavement in a dead patrol. I said, "The wonder that I feel is easy, yet ease is cause of wonder. Therefore speak. I may not comprehend, may not remember." And he, "I am not eager to rehearse my thoughts in theory with you. Have forgotten these things have served their purpose. Let them be. So with your own, and pray they be forgiven by others, as I pray you to forgive, both bad and good. Last season's fruit is eaten, and the fulfilled beast shall kick the empty pail. For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. But as the passage now presents no hindrance to the spirit unappeased and peregrine, between 2 worlds become much like each other, so I find words I never thought to speak, in streets I never thought I should revisit, when I left my body on a distant shore. Since our concern was speech, and speech impelled us to purify the dialect of the tribe, and urge the mind to oversight and foresight, let me disclose the gifts reserved for age, to set a crown upon your lifetime's effort. First, the cold friction of expiring sense without enchantment, offering no promise but bitter tastelessness of shadow fruit as body and soul begin to fall asunder. Second, the conscious impotence of rage at human folly, and the laceration of laughter at what ceases to amuse. And last, the rendering pain a reenactment of all that you have done and been, the shame of motives late revealed, and the awareness of things ill done and done to others harm, which once you took for exercise of virtue. Then fool's approval stings, and honor stains. From wrong to wrong the exasperated spirit proceeds, unless bestowed by that refining fire, where you must move and measure like a dancer. The day was breaking, in the disfigured street. He left me, with a kind of valediction, and faded on the blowing of the horn. 3. There are 3 conditions which often look alike yet differ completely, flourish in the same hedgerow: attachment to self and to things and to the persons, detachment from self and from things and from persons, and, growing between them, indifference, which resembles the others as death resembles life, being between 2 lives, unflowering between the live and the dead nettle. This is the use of memory for liberation, not less of love, but expanding from the love beyond desire, and so liberation from the future as well as the past. Thus, love of a country begins as attachment to our own field of action, and comes to find the action of little importance, though never indifferent. History may be servitude, history may be freedom. See, now they vanish, the faces and places with the self which, as it could, loved them, to become renewed, transfigured, in another pattern. Sin is behovely, but all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. If I think again of this place, and of people not wholly commendable, of no immediate kin or kindness, but of some peculiar genius, and touched by a common genius, united in the strife which divided them. If I think of a king at nightfall, of 3 men and more on the scaffold, and a few who died forgotten in other places here and abroad, and of one who died blind and quiet, and should we celebrate these dead men more than the dying? Is it not to ring the bell backward, nor is it an incantation to summon the spectre of a rose? We cannot revive old factions, we cannot restore old policies, or follow an antique drum. These men, and those who oppose them, and those whom they opposed, accept the constitution of silence, and are folded in a single party. Whatever we inherit from the fortunate, we have taken from the defeated. What they leave us? A symbol perfected in death, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well, by the purification of the motive and the ground of our besieging. 4. The dove descending breaks the air with flames of incandescent terror, of which the tongues declare to one discharged from sin and error. The only hope, or else despair, lies in the choice of fire or fire, to be redeemed from fire by fire. Who then devised the torment? Love. Love is the unfamiliar name, beyond the hands that wove the intolerable shirt of flame, which human power cannot remove. We only live, only suspire, consumed by either fire or fire. V. What we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. To end is where we start from, and every phrase and sentence that is right, where every word is at home, taking its place, support the others. The word neither diffident nor ostentatious, an easy commerce of the old and the new, the common word exact without vulgarity, the formal word precise but not pedantic, the complete consort dancing together. Every phrase and every sentence is an end and a beginning. Every poem an epitaph. And any action is a step to the block, to the fire, down the sea's throat, or to an illegible stone. And that is where we start. We die with the dying. See, they depart, and we go with them. We are born with the dead. See, they return and bring us with them. The moment of the rose and the moment of the yew tree are of equal duration. A people without history is not redeemed from time, for history is a pattern of timeless moments. So, while the light fails on a winter's afternoon in a secluded chapel, history is now in England. While the drawing of this love and voice of this calling, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall, and the children in the apple tree, not known, because not looked for, but heard. In the stillness between 2 waves of the sea. Quick now, here, now, always a condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. And all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well, when the tongue of flame are enfold in the crowned knot of fire, and the fire in the